Thank you for subscribing to our channel. Today is Thursday, March 4, 2021. Deutsche Welle report. Hong Kong. Pro-democracy activists kept in custody. A Hong Kong court on Thursday ordered 47 dissidents held on subversion charges under a Beijing-imposed national security law not be released on bail before a May 31 court hearing. 15 of the people charged were initially granted bail but have now been ordered to return to custody to await the decision of a 48-hour review prompted by a Department of Justice appeal. 31 activists were denied bail outright.
Deutsche Welle report. Germany says AstraZeneca vaccine okay for over 65s after all. Germany's Independent Standing Committee on Vaccination (STIKO) said on Thursday that the AstraZeneca vaccine can be administered to older people. Germany had originally balked at approving the vaccine for those aged 65 and over due to efficacy concerns. However, new data, and quite possibly the faltering national attempts to start vaccinating, caused German health authorities to change their minds.
CNN report. Germany's far-right AfD becomes first party to be put under government surveillance since Nazi era. Germany's BfV Domestic Intelligence Service has formally placed the far-right Alternative for Germany (AfD) under surveillance on suspicion of trying to undermine Germany's democratic constitution. A person briefed on the move said on Wednesday, after 4 years ago becoming the first avowedly anti-immigrant party to enter the German parliament. The AfD now becomes the first party to be monitored in this way since the Nazi era ended in 1945.
CNN report. One group that won't entirely benefit from going back to normal: grocery stores. Last year, people were stockpiling food and essentials at stores and ordering a lot more groceries online. That was great news for America's biggest grocery chains. Now companies say the pandemic time boom is over. Kroger Kr., the largest supermarket chain in this country, said Thursday that it expects comparable sales, or sales at stores open for at least 1 year, to decline by 3% to 5% this year.
Al Jazeera report. Military helicopter crash in southeast Turkey kills 11. An army helicopter crashed in southeast Turkey on Thursday, killing 11 military personnel and injuring 2 others, the defense ministry said. The Cougar-type helicopter crashed near the village of Sekmese, close to the town of Tatvan, in the predominantly Kurdish-populated Bitlis province. It was on its way to Tatvan from the nearby province of Bingöl when authorities lost contact with it at 2:25 p.m. 11:25 GMT, the ministry said.
BBC report. Nigeria kidnapping. Freed Zamfara schoolgirl keen to return to school. Speaking to BBC Hausa, the girl, who we have not identified for own security, described her terror the night gunmen seized 279 of them and marched them into the forest, but said the experience won't stop her education. I really want to go back to school because I want a bright future, but we need government to deploy permanent security forces to our school before I can have the courage of going back, she said.
BBC report. Operation finds 150 missing children in Tennessee. The children, between 3 and 17 years old, were found in 3 two-week blitzes throughout the U.S. state. 5 of the children were suspected to be victims of human trafficking, investigators said, and 1 was rescued as part of a kidnapping probe. The recoveries are among the largest for recent missions by states to find missing children. A number of arrests have been made following the probe, officials said.
Fox report. Israel updating plans to strike Iranian nuclear sites, Israeli defense minister tells Fox News. Israel has identified numerous targets inside Iran that would hurt its ability to develop a nuclear bomb. If the world stops them before, it's very much good. But if not, we must stand independently and we must defend ourselves by ourselves, Gantz said in his first sit-down interview with an American outlet. Amid increasing regional tension over Iranian proxy action and violations of the 2015 nuclear deal, intelligence assessments state that Iran will likely target Israel using proxies in Syria and Lebanon during 2021.
CNN report. TikTok empowered these plus-sized women, then took down some of their posts. They still don't know why. After losing her marketing job due to the pandemic and then gaining 40 pounds, Remy Bader, 25, began spending more time on TikTok. She built up a following by posting about clothing items not fitting her correctly and her struggle to find larger sizes in New York City stores, but in early December, Bader, who now has more than 800,000 followers, tried on a too small pair of brown leather pants from Zara, and viewers caught a glimpse of her partially naked butt.
CNN report. Square to acquire majority stake in music service Tidal for $297 million. Jay-Z has 99 problems but figuring out a buyer for his struggling music streaming service is no longer one. Square SQ, the payments company founded and run by Twitter CEO Jack Dorsey, announced Thursday it has agreed to acquire a majority stake in Jay-Z's Tidal platform. In a press release, Square said it expects to pay $297 million in cash and stock for the stake. As part of the deal, Jay-Z will join Square's board.
Fox report. COVID-19 strikes 2 U.S. Navy warships moored in Bahrain, at least 40 infected. 2 American warships continued to be out of action in Bahrain on Thursday amid heightened tensions with Iran following a spate of rocket attacks on American troops in Iraq and a U.S. airstrike in Syria late last week. A spokesman for the U.S. Navy's Fifth Fleet said roughly a total of 40 crew members aboard both the amphibious transport ship USS San Diego and guided missile cruiser USS Philippine Sea have tested positive for the coronavirus.
Al Jazeera report. WHO inspectors to scrap interim report on probe of COVID origin. A World Health Organization (WHO) team investigating the origins of COVID-19 is planning to scrap an interim report on its recent mission to China amid mounting tensions between Beijing and Washington over the investigation and an appeal from one international group of scientists for a new inquiry, The Wall Street Journal reported on Thursday. The full report is expected in coming weeks. WHO spokesman Tariq Yasarevic told Reuters news agency.
Deutsche Welle report. Germany charges Syrian with murder over Dresden knife attack. A 21-year-old Syrian man has been charged with murder for the stabbing of 2 tourists, one fatally, in the eastern city of Dresden in 2020, Germany's top prosecutor said on Thursday. The Office of the Federal Prosecutor (GBA) charged that the man, identified only as Abdullah AHH, under German privacy laws, targeted the victims with a knife and acted out of radical Islamic extremist views. The man is charged with stabbing the tourists, aged 55 and 53, killing one and seriously injuring the other.
BBC report. South Africa crocodiles hunt on after mass escape in Western Cape. Some 27 reptiles have been recaptured, but officials have admitted they do not know how many more they need to find. The crocodiles are believed to have escaped through a broken fence at a breeding farm outside Bonnievale and made their way to the Breed River. Local residents have been urged not to approach them. Obviously, they are very dangerous. These are wild animals even though they've been in captivity, said Petro van Rijn, a spokeswoman for the region's environmental service, Cape Nature.
Fox report. Ex-Maryland police chief dubbed serial arsonist allegedly set 12 fires targeting enemies. An ex-Maryland police chief allegedly acted as a serial arsonist, intentionally starting at least a dozen fires across the state over the past decade to target people he had disagreements with, officials said. Former City of Laurel Police Chief David Crawford, 69, was arrested Wednesday by members of 2 arson task forces, along with investigators and detectives from multiple Maryland fire and police agencies, Prince George's County Fire (EMS) Department said in a statement.
Fox report. Brother of Colorado mom allegedly murdered by boy, 14, was fatally shot years earlier, family wants justice. The brother of a young Colorado mom who was shot and killed after a seemingly random roadway attack last month is calling for justice for his sister, as he describes how their only other sibling was also killed by gun violence decades earlier. It's just me now, Alex Cabriels, 36, told Fox News during a Wednesday phone call. We had a brother who died to the same gun violence in 1994, Cabriels, who also lives in Colorado, spent his 36th birthday doing the unimaginable, mourning the loss of his little sister, Pamela Cabriels, who was 4 years younger.
Al Jazeera report. UN rights investigator calls for tough sanctions on Myanmar. The United Nations human rights investigator on Myanmar said on Thursday the military there has murdered, beaten and unlawfully arrested protesters since it seized power in a coup on February 1 and called for wide-ranging punitive sanctions. Thomas Andrews urged the UN Security Council to impose a global arms embargo and targeted economic sanctions on the military rulers and refer alleged atrocities to the International Criminal Court for prosecution.
Thank you for watching 5 p.m. recap. To be notified, you can subscribe our channel and activate the bell.